Welcome to On the Corner in downtown Marion. It is July 21st, and we are here on the corner with our host, Mike Powers, and he's got a guest with him today. Would you want to introduce him, Mike?
I will be happy to introduce him, Gene. Hello, everyone. We're continuing to try to bring you a little bit of this, a little bit of that. The idea is that this is a forum that will talk about things going on in Marion, talk about people in Marion. We're still looking for some of you to come forward and say, hey, my grandpa grows the biggest tomatoes in town, or my grandma makes quilts that you wouldn't believe, because we'd love to do a show with her or he in it. All you got to do is contact Gene Winkler, 620-382-7111, and we'll get those folks on for you. Give them a little bit of love. If you've got something that you'd like to talk about with regard to Marion, it doesn't have to be that you love everything in it. If you've got an issue you want to talk about, as long as you're not mean and as long as you're not disparaging of other people, we'd be glad to have you on. The guest today is, we love to call him Mark. Actually, this is Bryan Wells. Bryan is the new city administrator here in Marion. For 18 months, our interim was Mark and Mark McInerney, and I'm still struggling with, when I'm talking city business, with not saying Mark, but he's been very patient, I guess, with me, at least to my face. I don't know what he says behind the scenes. But Bryan, welcome. Nice to have you here.
Thank you. Appreciate that.
Bryan tends to want to dress like a professional because he is one. I dress like an old man because I am one.
And I noticed that you got your legs crossed and he don't. Is that?
Don't really have
That's better.
Okay, fine. I can fend him off if he attacks me.
Yeah.
So Bryan has been with us now for 3 weeks.
Just over a month now. Actually.
Wow.
Yeah,
okay.
time flies.
And I know that we've had the meet and greet. You did a press release that was out there, and you've spoken at a couple of community events. But maybe just a little bit of background on who is this Bryan Wells dude?
Okay. Well, again, my name is Bryan Wells. New to the community of Marion, but not new to the state of Kansas in the area. I was born in Emporia, Kansas, in a hospital. I'm not old enough to have been born at home, but
yeah, delivered by the neighbor lady, and
exactly
before Doc Adams got there.
Exactly. Grew up in Emporia for 8 months, and then my folks moved to Kansas City, where my dad worked for Jones Store, mercantile stores up there for, well, a long time. Grew up in Olathe, predominantly. Graduated Emporia State, went to Johnson County Community College, finished my bachelor's in business administration in Emporia State. My grandparents lived in Emporia. My grandfather taught at university, and my other grandfather worked for Newman's department store for many years. So,
for those who are familiar with Emporia, just south of the four-way stop there on Commercial and 6th, Newman's was just a little bit down. Big store. You know, kind of nostalgic, one of those, I don't know, probably started to struggle maybe the 80s or 90s, I'm not sure, but would have been huge in the 60s and 70s.
Oh, absolutely. I heard the stories about sidewalk sale and in July, which I think they just had there recently, and my grandfather would take this big box of towels, and the women are around the table grabbing towels on sale, and he's just trying to restock them as he goes. So,
that's a sale.
Yes.
That's doing well.
Yeah, lots of retail in our background. But after that, I worked in a couple different industries. I found my way into public service with government in the town of Estes Park in 2012. And worked there for about 7 years, and then switched sides of the contract, as it were, as I was in charge of their shuttle program, and went to work for Rocky Mountain Transit for 4 years as their general manager, and then trying to get back to Kansas. My wife's from Emporia also, and
she also, did she graduate from Emporia State?
She did. She graduated Emporia State as well. We were there at different times. We actually didn't meet until we were 30 in my grandmother's living room. They swear it wasn't a setup, but it worked out that way.
It sounds that way.
So
That's a Hallmark movie right there.
just about, yeah. About 4 or 5 people will probably watch it. Let's see. So we're trying to make our way back to Kansas because we have family everywhere here. And we end up in Florida for a couple of years, and I worked for Collier County as their division director for public transit and neighborhood enhancement. 2 very different jobs, but interesting and fun, and back in the public sector where I really have enjoyed the opportunity to be able to give back to the community and help and try to do things smart in government. And so
in Florida, and obviously there'd be no reason that I would have known this before you got here and we started talking. But had I been someone in the government or the entity you were working for when you were there, I might have questioned your commitment to staying there long term. You want to speak to that just a little bit?
Well, I wasn't intentionally leaving, but the goal was to get here. And, when the door opens, you run through it, and that was the opportunity.
And you lived in a cardboard box.
Almost.
No.
No, not quite bad. It had wheels.
You had a I don't know how big your camper is, but or your trailer.
Yeah. We have a fifth wheel. 34 foot some inches, I think it is. Yeah.
And the marriage survived 2 years?
2 years in that, yeah. But that wasn't a long-term solution. So.
Right.
But when you're in Florida, a lot of people are doing that, and the economy and the market is such in housing in that neck of the woods there in Naples that things are rather pricey. But you have wonderful campgrounds, swimming pools, and lots of people, a lot of people that were there year-round like we were. And it worked. It worked. Even during the hurricanes, it was okay.
Never thought about the hurricane. And for those who may be wondering, yes, we need to find a place for this couple to live because, yes, they're still living in the fifth wheel. It is parked within the city limits of Marion.
Per contract.
Per contract. Well, you could go to the county lake or out the federal reservoir.
I could, but we like being local, and we don't have to move every 2 weeks. So.
And if you do, it's a much easier move than
absolutely
for a lot of people.
Yeah.
So when I'll just speak for myself here. When we were doing interviews, Mark clearly was a smart guy. Clearly had a sense of humor, which I think is important. You can't. I guess some people have been very successful being serious about everything, and certainly there's a time, but they could laugh now and then is good too. But we were all very impressed with Bryan. Here I did it again with Bryan, and he was an obvious choice for us. His resume just checked a lot of boxes, everything from communication with the public to having previously supervised large numbers of people. Just thought he was the guy, and we were lucky enough to get him. And as he said, he's been here a month now, so let's transition a little bit into that. Okay. He knows this because I've told him already. I feel like as Mark was getting ready to go back into retirement, and Mark, for those of you who met him, is still got his finger on our pulse down here. He's working on some with us on some potential projects, some very big projects. And he's promised he's going to kind of help to the extent we need him on any of those. But we just kind of said, okay, Bryan, here you go. Boom. Take over. And he's done that. So what's your impression? You walked in the door that first day, and you don't have to be totally honest. I don't want you to hurt anybody's feelings. but what are your impressions so far?
Well, it's good. We got a great town. We have great people here. I've met a lot of wonderful people. The team I'm working with is dedicated to what they're doing. I see a lot of passion for public service, for doing things the right way, being open, upfront, and honest. And I'm trying to model that as well. I want their feedback. We've had a good leadership meeting and a good all-employee meeting already since I've been here, and I'm trying to listen from them and find needs, things we need to work on. infrastructure-wise, things we can do to improve our community, as well as working with the council, which has been great. Everybody's been very welcoming. I appreciate that. And patient, I think, also is good as I try to learn and listen and figure out what's going on here. That's happening rapidly. We're already looking at some opportunities, I think, that will help improve our ability to get our work done, and maybe some reliability on, a few different things. I'll mention those tonight in the council meeting.
Okay.
But
Okay.
we're looking at what we can do to improve our situation and respond quickly and effectively, and be careful with tax money. We're all paying tax money, and so we want to be good stewards of that, and I believe we will.
One of the things that Mark from the early on, gosh darn, I need to be hypnotized or something. I don't know what Bryan has from the get-go talked about, and you heard him say it a minute ago. He referenced the team, and he has explained that he doesn't see our city employees as employees, and he doesn't even like the word staff, which I thought was a little harsh. I didn't think staff was so bad, but he likes teamwork, teammates, and part of the team. And I can't agree more with that idea. And so when he refers to the team, he's talking about the people who work on the streets, the people who run the water plant, the people who take care of the electricity, the ladies in the office, everybody that's involved in the process. And that would be from the police department to the fire department to the street sweeper. So know that this is a guy who is looking at this as an organism, as a team. I don't know. I certainly don't have any knowledge of how previous administrations have dealt with that, but I suspect this is going to be a little bit of a different spin, and I like it. And I'm just curious. I'm sure you have said to the folks, you've had meetings with them, that, hey, it's a team. What's the reaction been? Have you gotten any reaction at all out of that?
Not direct so much, but I think there's it helps build a level of trust between us.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, certainly there's times when you have to run a top-down organization. Budget will probably be part of it, but if there's emergency situations, you just got to be able to do that thing. But I want them to be comfortable in being able to take responsibility, show some initiative, and I've seen some of that. I've said I have an open door policy that if they need to discuss anything that's going on in their position or ideas they have, to come, and I've had a lot of people already do that. Good. So we've met, the leadership team and I think have each met once or twice individually as well as a group, and they know that I'm listening and I'm trusting them because they've been here.
Right.
And that it makes a lot of difference. I value their opinion, their experience, certainly in water treatment. My knowledge of water is you turn it on and it works, and you can drink it and it's safe, and that's where we want to stay. And so, great team there. Electrical, I know that they've been out and helped in a storm recently and took care of some trees that needed to be adjusted because they were coming down on wires. We had some guys out taking care of a water issue on a Sunday already. So, I mean, they're responsible. I haven't seen anybody with a bad attitude. Everybody is glad to be there, and we're looking forward and hopeful, optimistic of the future.
Nobody with a bad attitude?
I have. No, you don't have a bad attitude. You have an attitude, but it's not bad.
Yeah, I have an attitude. I want to just piggybacking off of that. I'm going to mention this at the council meeting tonight too. I've heard many very positive comments about the way the park is looking. And as a newcomer to town, and I don't think this will be a surprise to you, but Central Park is kind of the heartbeat of this community. And I can speak for myself. First time I ever came to Marion, I drove by and my first reaction was, whoa, that's a nice park. Mm-hmm. And you'll hear a lot of people say things like that was their first impression, or just that park really stands out when they think of Marion. And I think that the city and Ron in particular, Ron Wirtz, who's taking care of the park, has just done an exceptional job. Matter of fact, I got contacted by the Chingawassa Days Committee specifically to say how much they appreciated the condition the park was in. And it's usually the case, but not always. So that's another example, we think, of the staff of the city, the people who work for the city, having the right attitude of not just putting in their 8 hours and getting their $1 an hour, but rather trying to make things right for the city of Marion. So you say you have a wife.
Yes.
There's no evidence to that effect, except that you appear to be, your clothes match and you appear to be clean.
Those are important things.
Yeah,
yes.
those are very important and not necessary if women are.
Yeah.
No, they aren't. So how is she taking to this?
We're glad to be here. Shortly after our move, we were already at a baby shower for a niece, and we have a family reunion over in Halstead early here in August. And so these are good things.
Yeah.
We're glad to be here. We had a picnic in the park, Central Park already, our first week here. Took some food over and sat there, and I kind of wanted to see it because from my point of view, but she likes open outdoor spaces. She grew up on a farm.
And she's been living in a tin can for 2 years.
Yeah. So we like to do things outside. And so, I mean, just from driving in there, it was neat as a pin. And this is after Chingawassa.
Oh,
when we got here.
Well, that is a challenge.
Yeah.
Especially as much rain as we had during Chingawassa.
Exactly. I think it was within a week of, first week I was here working. And Ron, phenomenal job. And I've driven around to see the other parks as well. And the same attention to detail is there. And we like people that can mow grass. And and I want to say take it personally because it looks nice.
That I can do that.
Oh.
I don't brag about it a lot, but I think my yard looks nice.
I have not been by your yard yet. Now I have a reason to go by.
Yeah, go by. Look at my yard.
So, I mean, it's just when you got people that want to, well, we live here. I think pretty much everybody on the team lives here or very close to the city. And so it's our community. And it shows that they want to take pride in what they're doing. And I mean, can't ask for a whole lot more than that.
Well, I agree with that. Let me try to think of how to phrase this. And I'm not trying to make you pull, some grand scheme out of the air because we have done absolutely zero preparation for today.
No warning.
He asked what time to get there to get ready. I said, "We'll start when you get there." There's no preparation. I know it looks like a well-oiled machine, but in fact, that's because of Gene's skill.
Absolutely.
And my personality.
That helps.
that statement's half true there, Gene's skill. Going forward, do you have are you focusing on, okay, I want to do these first, then I'm going to transition to that? Do you have a blueprint, a goal? And I'm not asking for great specifics, but just some idea. If somebody were to say to you, what direction are you trying to take this bus, what would your answer be?
Well, since I was in transportation for a while, we want to keep the bus on the road, obviously. We want to be safe. We want to get everybody there to their destination. So I think as I look at the destination, we acknowledge that there's been some hurt in the community and we need to heal. I think we need to, in government, we need to be open, as transparent, honest, good, like I said earlier, good stewards of the resources that we have. And part of that, as I get here, and I think we talked about it in the interview, was focus on infrastructure. A lot of communities and places I've worked previously had older infrastructure. There's some older infrastructure here. We're talking, water, sewer, electric. The electric's in good shape. I don't see a lot of need there, but things can come up in water treatment where we need to maybe enhance some of our equipment or repair some things. They're doing a good job with that, but there's just going to be needs. We don't want sewers that leak. we want to make sure we take care of those. We need to, get our roads as smooth as possible and try to do so in kind of an even manner so that we're caring for the whole community and not just sections at a time, although sometimes finances will warrant that.
Right.
But I really want to see that we're leaving the city in a better spot than we found it every day. And so we're looking ahead to grandchildren, great-grandchildren, the people that are going to live here after we're retired and done our time, and that we're not putting a burden on them in the future. So
our setup is such that Gene is kind of like the wizard in The Wizard of Oz. He's behind that curtain and you're not allowed to look back there. But on occasion, the great wizard booms that voice through with questions. Gene, anything that we've brought up here that, or any thoughts you had while we were talking that you might have a question for Bryan?
No, I just think it's great. Everything I've heard so far of what he's done is all been good news and everything, and it's time that Marion moves forward, and I think you're the guy to do it.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that trust.
Yeah,
Absolutely. We recognize where we've been. I'm a history buff. I've been to our museum last week, and they've got some things they want to take care of and some opportunities to take care of that.
Yep.
But yeah, we recognize where we've been, how we got here, and design a future that hopefully will be well for everybody.
And I think that to those who are viewing, I got to make our pitch. Speaking of that, we started this, Chris Mercer, Jeremiah Lang, Darren Neufeld, Gene Winkler, and myself, just as an outlet for some of our desires to be able to talk about things going on in Marion. And I know there's a pushback anytime you say the word positive, because there's a perception that if you're being positive, that you're not being truthful. And I would disagree with that. The difference is that we're just not focusing. There's negative out there, and certainly we've referenced it from time to time, but we're not going to focus on it. And that's why we want to see that giant tomato. And that's why that if you have a story to tell, you want to come in here and talk about your business and encourage people to come check you out and give them a corner special. There's no money being generated by this. We're not commercial enterprise, so we could certainly accommodate you on that too.
we have no subscription fee.
Well, we have no subscription. Yeah, and do people think we do? You don't know? Okay. Well, I just, if you love Marion and if you are supportive of Marion, it would be nice to see those subscriptions go up, just so we would know that every show gets 100 to 200 at the top viewers or views. That's a little disappointing, but it's not nothing. I mean, the 200 would be 10% of the population of Marion. But we would like to grow it, and all you have to do is hit subscribe. Go to YouTube, hit subscribe. There's no fee, and unless you hit the bell, you won't even get notices that there's new episodes. If you want to know there's new episodes, hit the bell. But in any event, we'd love you to grow this a little bit, and we're going to continue to bring people in here that you might not have an opportunity to see unless you went in to complain about your water bill. And I don't know, Bryan, any last thoughts you wanted to throw out there?
Well, I want to throw in a plug for
do that.
a couple things. If you watch the city's Facebook page, we're going to try to be a little more forthcoming on additional information about things happening here in our community around the corner in Marion. The first one is next Wednesday, the 23rd. KDOT is going to be here from 4:30 to 6:30 for a public open house about the future upgrades, I guess we'll call it, for Highway 56 from Highway 77 over to the Loves. They're outside of Marion, outside of McPherson.
Right.
I'll get my M's correct. And it's a come and go. There's no public presentation other than the fact that you walk in. I'd imagine if it's like ones I've been to before, there'll be nice little visual displays. There'll be some outlines of potential highway things. I think they're
Okay.
trying to bring it up
Okay.
a little more like Highway 50, where we have the passing lanes, etc. Probably some intersection improvements. I'm just guessing, but come and go. And again, that's in the community center. We're allowing them the space to do that for a couple hours next Wednesday. Hope you can attend, provide some feedback. I've got a little bit. I've been on that road a couple times now, and
well,
look forward to it.
I'll jump in. Two things. When I saw the length of time that the informational thing was set for, I thought, holy moly, that's going to be boring. I thought they were going to come in and make a presentation and talk about the plan. So I'm really glad to hear that it's you come and go kind of thing. And it has to be, if they're not putting in at least 2 passing lanes between here and McPherson. And to be real honest, if just top of the head, I don't know that we need one between here and Hillsboro. It's Hillsboro to McPherson, that area through there. I go to McPherson a lot doing the mediation stuff I do, and it's just normal rural Kansas traffic. But some farmers trying to move a piece of equipment from one section over to the other, and the only real way to get there is on the highway. It's understandable, but boy, it can clog things up. Passing lanes would be a big deal.
I think that would be helpful. And then there's people with RVs going to our
those people.
Yeah, those people that go to the reservoir or the county lake, and as they come here and want to have a great opportunity to be outside camping and enjoy the beauty of Marion County and hopefully our community as well. We invite them, if you're in the neighborhood, stop in and check out Marion while you're at Marion Reservoir or the county lake. And
You said you had a couple things you wanted to mention. Did I make you forget about one?
Yeah, it flew the coop. So.
Well, so we're just know him, and you can tell friends and relatives that this is the guy, as opposed to the people in Minnesota, the Dakotas, and Kansas who go to Texas and Florida in their RVs. He comes from Florida to Kansas in an RV.
Absolutely.
So he does not march to the same drummer that everybody else does.
No, at times I don't.
With that, thank you very much. Really appreciate your time.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
And see you at the city council meeting.
Absolutely.
See you
Thank
all
you.
around the corner.
Take care.
All right. We want to thank Bryan for coming in today and being here with us. And of course, Mike, as the host of one of the hosts of On the Corner in Marion, Kansas.
The best one.
The best one. That's what the other guys say when they're here, too. So.
They're right.
We do thank you guys for watching this. And like Mike said, when you're watching it in the lower right-hand corner, there's a little red subscribe button there. All you have to do is just click on it once, and it'll help our deal with YouTube. Because the more subscribers you have, the better they like you and seem to give you a few perks and so forth. So anyway, we want to thank you all for coming, and we'll see you the next time.